So realized vol continued to drift lower, did hit lows of around 30 on Bitcoin and 35 on Ethereum. Implied vols were softer by about 2 points on the 1 month bucket. But we have seen a little bounce in the front of the curve overnight as we've seen this dip in spot. Carry has been very positive. So we're looking at 20 vols-ish on both names. So in theory, gamma sellers are still kind of being rewarded here for now. But as this level has started to break now, if ETH doesn't hold on to 3,500, then the move could get a bit more sinister, and then the gamma sellers might get stung again, right? So we'll see if that happens. Like I said, I don't think the delays are enough to derail the entire rally that we've seen in Ethereum. We went from like 3,000 to 3,800 super fast. So a dip down to 3,500 is kind of fine. It's just kind of consolidation. And then like I said, that popping yields on non-farms made it pretty hard for Bitcoin to go higher. And that was the first outflow we've seen yesterday in nearly 3 weeks. So starting to pause a little bit. So maybe some cause for caution. But I think from my perspective, I haven't really got any hedges on right now, because I do still see this pullback as kind of a consolidation in what is a very strong bull trend that I'm trying to run. If anything changes there and any major levels get breached, then I might have to reevaluate that and put some bigger hedges in place. But right now, I'm kind of sitting there still pretty long. Okay, looking at term structure. You can see on the term structure, not huge moves, but we did see a pop in the front. So we've seen the weeklies for this Friday have just popped about 6 points. Next week is small higher, and then the rest of the curve's down about a vol point on Bitcoin. And then in Ethereum, we saw a 6 vol point pop in the front for this week. Similar sort of moves, about 1 to 2 vol decline in the Vega from July onwards. And then in terms of the skew, we are seeing a little bit of call skew fading in the front there as some put demand comes back. But you can see those calls on the upside in the long end are pretty unchanged at around 5 vols on Bitcoin and around 7 vols for long dated call premium on Ethereum. So there's not huge moves there, but really seeing gamma quite firm as people kind of use super short dated options to manage their risk. And then that long end of the curve, the Vega kind of fading a bit, because generally the Vega buyers tend to be call buyers, and so they are maybe losing some faith in a near-term rally. Looking at relative value, we had a little pop in the front weekly, so Ethereum outperforming there, so the spread moving up a little there, rest of the curve kind of seeing a bit of a drop, but in general we're in that same sort of range where a little bit over 10 in the front, and we're looking at about 6 or 7 vols in the back. I do think ETH vol is going to hold a significant premium across the whole curve. And we don't really see that changing until we've seen the ETF launch. We've seen what the inflows look like. ETH has had its repricing one way or another. And then things can maybe start to settle down in terms of the spread. The spot spread was drifting. It did have a massive pop, obviously, on the news of the ETFs. It has drifted, but it hasn't been doing it too violently. It may be providing a bit of an entry point here for those of you who didn't get long ETH against short BTC. Some of that positioning looks like it has been stopped out or is getting stopped out. And if you were kind of a bit slow to react on that and you were waiting for a dip, then you are kind of starting to get a little bit of a dip here. So that's something you may want to consider. In terms of skew, we already mentioned, in general, we're seeing a bit of a fade in the front end. Skew's been pretty uneventful for most of the week, as the medium-term narrative hasn't really changed. That drop overnight has led to a bit of put buying in the front end, and so that call skew has gone to neutral in the weeklies. The term structures of skew are pretty steep though, so you go from kind of neutral up to around 5 to 7 vols in the back, with Ethereum skew, call skew trading at a premium to Bitcoin. That's probably going to persist until the ETFs have been launched and we've seen what the inflows look like. I'd say that's probably a good barometer. Like if call skew in Ethereum flips to be back underneath Bitcoin call skew, that's almost like the options market way of saying, okay, we're not believers in this ETF anymore, that it's either going to happen or it's going to bring significant inflows, right? But whilst the market still believes those things, you would expect the call skew in Ethereum to stay elevated relative to Bitcoin.
Hi everyone, thanks for making it to the end of the video. Remember, this is just a little taster of what we do at Options Insight. To get access to all our research, including my in-depth vol market insights, flows and positioning report, and my portfolio trades, and a whole lot more, you can sign up for a free 1-month trial at options-insight.com. I'll see you soon.
That's the summary for this week in crypto. Thanks a lot. As always, I'll catch you guys later.